Welcome to episode 165 of the Fully In It podcast. If you are a mom entrepreneur, I bet at some point you have wondered, is it possible to actually balance home and business? Or even how you can? You don't want to sacrifice either, but some days it feels like you've got to choose between the two. Listen, there is a path forward to calmly balancing home life and business, and I want to share it with you today. After 6 years in business with 3 kiddos at home, I can confidently say that it is 100% possible to thrive in both home life and business. So let's go ahead and dig right in. Welcome to the Fully In It podcast with Kate Saffel, a show for powerful moms growing life-changing businesses while showing up intentionally for their families. I teach you how to create a family-first and profitable business in less time by leveraging simple strategy, mom life-friendly systems, and above all, the mindset of going fully in it. You ready? Hey, mama, how are you doing? How has it been going for you lately? So it has been pretty crazy around here. You know, I shared in a couple episodes ago that we were sick. We are getting ready to move, which honestly was completely unexpected. And we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants, but I think it's going to be so incredibly good for our family. And I'm just a couple of days out from reopening doors to expand mentoring membership. I've been in a challenge all of this week, a free challenge I've been offering called Back in Business. And it has been so much going on in the best possible way. Because here's the thing is that, I've been in business for 6 years. Launching is something I have done so many times at this point, right? And launching, in case you're not familiar with that term, it just means where you are intentionally offering, say, a product or a service for a set period of time. So that's a whole other podcast episode. I did do an episode probably earlier this spring on, I think it was called Mom Life Friendly Launching, something like that. And you can always go and listen to that episode. But I've been doing this for a really long time. And I have found, and I always have to remind myself, that launching can feel really stressful or it can be really fun. And when I'm in a launch, what I choose to do is really lean into the fun and lean into the gratitude. So I've been making sure to tap out of my business and just enjoy being with the kiddos and take them to do fun stuff. And remember that launches tend to go really well when I'm just enjoying myself and I'm in a state of gratitude and appreciation for everything that is happening in my life. So even though my house is starting to fill up with moving boxes and we don't even have all of our loose ends tied up, which that's a whole other story. It's so crazy how this whole move has come about. I'm sure I will share it at some point. But despite all of that, even though there are days where it has felt hard, and I'm being very honest with you, I have never had the thought, I just don't know if I can do both motherhood and business. I don't know if I can school my kids and get my podcast out. And here's the thing. It is common to feel when you are an intentional mother who's growing a business, it is common to feel that pull and that push and pull between home and business, to feel like it's a juggling act from day to day, right? I just want to acknowledge that this is completely normal. Because think about it. It's like your kiddo needs you to make some toast, your phone rings with a new message, then you remember you're behind on getting your podcast episode out. Then it's almost school pickup time. Your day can rapidly fly by. And you think, can I really do all of this well without sacrificing something or someone along the way? I want you to know that you're 100% not alone if you feel that way. That was always my biggest worry early on, that I would be negatively impacting my family by having a business. I didn't want to be distracted from my most important work, which is motherhood. But here's the thing I discovered after a couple of years of doing my business, because I was committed to my business, but also obviously super committed to being a mom. I found that I was wasting a lot of mental energy worrying about if I was doing the right thing, if it was good for me to be pursuing a business in motherhood. So I always kind of had like one foot in and one foot out. And consequently, it like really slowed down my business growth because I wasn't trusting that I was the kind of woman who could be the mother my kids needed and also be a successful entrepreneur. And this is going to really require you, if you see yourself in this, to shift your identity. Allow your identity to expand, to hold motherhood and business at the same time. Because your calling to serve others through your business is there for a reason. And it's not worth ignoring it or questioning it, because I promise you it will keep coming back over and over again, and it's going to drive you nuts. So you either decide to figure it out, decide to go fully in it, and trust that there are solutions for balancing home and business, or you're going to always kind of just be in this lukewarm state where you're like kind of in your business, but you're kind of not. And you're thinking about it, and then you feel guilty when you do work on it because you feel like you should be with the kids. And I just want to encourage you that you can totally have both. And in my opinion, for me, confidently choosing to have both and just saying like that's just what it is and saying it with certainty has actually been the best possible thing for my family, because I'm not being wishy-washy anymore about my calling. My kids see it, and I'm demonstrating to them what it looks like to carry something out all the way through to the end. I'm showing them what it is like to experience failure and have to problem solve and have to pivot and to bring a high level of service to the people that I care for in my business. At the same time, I'm having conversations with them like, hey, it's really important to me that you all come first, and I'm spending my time with you today, but I am going to have to work on my business tomorrow, and the babysitter is going to be here for a few hours. So always kind of like normalizing that mom does both, and it's okay for mom to do both. So let's go ahead and just acknowledge that you are here on earth for both. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast otherwise. Hello, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. So let's get you some shifts that are going to support you in being the mama and entrepreneur you're called to be. But the first thing I want to offer you is that when we use the word balance, it's really a relative term because there is no perfect balance between home and business, right? You're always going to be switching between the two. It's not going to be perfect. There are going to be days where you're going to spend way more time in family life and you're going to feel like your business is on the back burner. And then there's going to be other days where you are really focused in on your business because you know your business is the key to everything you want for your family. So you're willing to put in that time and effort now because you know that it's going to pay off. But again, we're not really seeking balance. I know that that's the title of this episode. We're not really seeking balance as much as building a foundation for both home and business to thrive side by side. So let's go ahead and dig into some of the shifts I want to share with you that I think are going to be so beneficial. So here is the first one I want to offer you. Whenever possible, be all in where you are. So if you're with the kiddos, be all in with them. Don't be on your phone. Don't be, getting on your laptop doing other things. Try as much as you can to be present with them. And I know this is hard. It's challenging, especially if you're like me and your kids are home with you all day and you're like, goodness gracious, I got to get some things done. In those cases, I will tell my kids, hey, I am stepping away. I'm going to go in my office and I need to get a few things done, and I'm going to be in there for 45 minutes. And I will get them set up with an activity or a show or something that they can do so that they don't feel like they are waiting for me. The same thing applies to your business though. When you are working on your business, be in your business. Don't be trying to cook dinner at the time, fielding questions from the kids, getting up and doing something else. Set a timer and work on whatever it is, whatever that task is that you decided to set for that work block, and give it your full attention. I know I've shared this on the episode before, but every time you get interrupted, what happens is it takes up to 30 minutes for your brain to get back to the spot you were at before you got interrupted. We think that we can multitask, and that's actually been proven to be a fallacy, meaning like it's just, nobody is multitasking. We think that we are, but what you're doing is your brain is actually very inefficiently switching between the two things that you're doing. So for example, if you are posting on social media while you're cooking dinner, and believe me, I've totally done that before, so there's no judgment from me, what's happening is your brain is rapidly switching between thinking about dinner and the next step for dinner, and then thinking about your Instagram post and what you want to write into that next. The truth is you actually get more done when you just focus on one task by itself to completion. And then you move on to the next task. The next thing I want to offer you is to have set working hours in your business. Just like if this was a job that you had to go somewhere and show up for, it is the same thing in your business. Your business needs that consistency from you. So I would just decide how many hours per week can you work on and devote to your business, plug them into your calendar, and then show up for it like a job. You're going to see way quicker growth by doing that. And what also is going to make a really big difference when it comes to balancing home and business is just keeping your business model simple. So for example, in Expand Mentoring membership, I work with moms who, some of them have brand new businesses, or the business is just an idea, right? Like they're coming into that space and they want to launch their first business. Others in the membership have been in business for years. And for those who have been in business for several years, often what we are doing is actually simplifying their business. Their businesses have gotten complicated and full of a lot of different variables and loose ends, things that they've picked up over the years from different gurus and experts. And it gets so complicated, which just is not a great fit for motherhood. And so whether they are brand new in business or they've been in business a couple of years, I am always encouraging the mamas inside Expand to have a really simple business model. We are always asking ourselves, what's the simplest way I could do this? How could it be easier for me to run my business? I'll tell you, you don't need all the bells and whistles that the online gurus will convince you that you need. And that should feel so freeing. Because for me, I have grown a multiple six-figure business with a really light business model. There's a lot of things I just intentionally choose not to do because I don't want to add any more complication to my business. So if that speaks to you and you also want just breathe easy, simple business, Expand is the space where you are going to get that support. And that is my final point, which is when you are a mom growing your business and you also want to show up with intention to your family life. You know, I'm the kind of person where I'm always thinking about, what do I want to shift in my home life? What do my kids need? How could I make our days run more smoothly? How could I create more connection and harmony between everyone? Right? This is just an ongoing thing that I'm always thinking about because being a mom is my first calling. And I know that I only get this one opportunity and then they'll be out of the house. And it's the same thing for your family, right? So we want to put the family first, but that doesn't mean that your business needs to go on the back burner and you only work on it here and there. I want you to work on it consistently, and I want you to have the tools and the support to grow it faster. You don't want to be wasting precious time throwing spaghetti against the wall and wondering, will this work or won't it? And I know I felt that way early on in my business because I didn't have any support or mentorship, and I was just looking at what people were doing online, and I was trying to figure out how to reverse engineer it so I could, do that myself. but I had no idea why they were doing what they were doing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand what was the strategy behind the things that I was externally seeing. And so when you get support, especially from someone who is farther along on the path than you, then they can help you kind of troubleshoot those aspects and speed up your timeline in a way that you just can't always do when you are a mama trying to manage home and growing a business. I truly believe that you can have a business that is the foundation for your happiest family life, and that there is space for you to hold both with so much integrity and heart. And I have spent the last few years designing a unique program that includes group coaching just for moms in business who want to be intentional about making more money for their family and not doing it at the cost of their family. So doors are reopening for Expand Mentoring membership on September 16th, and they close on the 30th. This is my year-long group for moms in business who want to grow a business that helps them serve others while serving their family. You will learn in this space what makes a business profitable, how to grow it simply in less time per week, while also putting your family first. I don't teach anything there that I haven't personally used on my own business or with my hundreds of mom clients I've served over the last 6 years. It is all mom tested and designed for you to succeed so that you can calmly balance home life and business. To learn more, head to happierinmotherhood.com/expand-membership to get all of the details. And you can always DM me on Instagram at happierinmotherhood if you have questions, but keep an eye on that space because, like I said, doors are going to be opening. Applications will be available. You do have to apply to get into this space, but I promise you that once you do, it is going to be the game changer that you have been looking for both in business and home life. Okay, Mama, thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will see you next week.